You know how fast you were going?
What? How fast you were going?
I don't know. 10?
8.
Be advised, this is an explicit podcast, so if you're easily offended, get your panties twisted into a knot, turn this off before you get butthurt and mad, start to cry, have to run to your safe space. All opinions are those of the host and his guest and do not reflect the opinions of any government agency. Welcome to MOTORCOP Chronicles podcast. I'm your host, as always, the Iceman. This will be part two of Aaron with I Had to Say It podcast. This is the second part. Hope y'all enjoyed the first one. If y'all listened to this bonus we did on Friday, Aaron was on that, and it was a lot of fun. So hope y'all enjoy it, and look forward to seeing some of y'all in the live show Wednesday. So let's get it rolling. I say we'll get it rolling. I'm always having. Let's talk about prizes. Didn't you told me, I think before, like applied for Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah, I did a long time ago, like season 2.
So I was a long time ago. I've watched. I don't know if it's still on. Like I said, I got rid of cable because they just pissed me off, and I don't know if they're on now still or not. But before that, I watched every one of them. Every one of them.
Yeah. I watched a lot of them before I gave up on cable a couple of years ago too. But
well, yeah, I think your personality's probably a little too strong for what they wanted.
That was kind of the impression I got from the rejection letter.
Because
it was like, not only do you seem real competent, it don't seem like you're going to get shook if you're getting yelled at. I'm like,
yeah, but that's not what they want. They want people to like, oh shit, I just, you freaked me out. I just chopped my pinky off.
Chef yelled at me, and then he told me I was a donkey.
He called me a cow.
Yeah, whereas me, I just, yes, chef, no, chef, all right. It's like, he's not shaking him at all. And then as soon as the service was done, I'd be out in the back. Who does that little motherfucker think I swear to God, if I don't win this fucking prize. Then come back in and be boring ass TV again.
I'm just trying to tell you. I mean, they say reality TV, but come on. I'm pretty much that shit staged up. I'm pretty much staged up.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly scripted, but it ain't exactly real either.
No, they kind of handpick the people they think that's going to make the best TV. And sometimes I think they're like, like, kick that person off, keep this person because they're making better rating.
Yeah, not to mention, if you look at it, how many of those restaurants that the winners got are still, up. I mean, now with COVID, that makes it less fair. But, before the world got put on pause, like 95% of those places folded.
Oh, really? I didn't pay attention.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like some of them have there's like the official Hell's Kitchen in Vegas that, because they started just like the winner got to run that restaurant for a year or whatever. I think at some point that's what they changed it to. Because initially, like the first couple seasons was like, well, you get to run your own restaurant under the umbrella of this corporation. And I think the first like 3 or 4 wound up closing within like a year.
Well, I mean, you're taking somebody that used to be a line cook at Piccadilly. You just gave them a 4-star restaurant trying to run it.
Yep. And good luck running this. We're going to have some consultants to help you for the launch. But after that, you're on your own, Gomer. And Yeah, and then although I did love the first season particularly, like they had a couple executive chefs on there. They're like, "Oh, I'm been the executive chef at this hotel in Chicago or this one in Las Vegas," and and then they got Gordon Ramsay like after the initial interview thing, and he's like, "Yeah, this guy comes in and tells me he's been an executive chef for the last 15 years. That means he sits on his ass behind a desk and he hasn't actually cooked anything in a decade." And I was just like, "This is true."
I wonder. But, I'd like to taste one of those beef Wellingtons, though. I will say that.
Well, if I ever get down that way, I'll bring you one. How about that?
That's the only thing. I've had risotto and all that stuff before like that. And I don't know, just risotto. It's not my thing. Yeah. It's got too much like a
fancy rice.
I think I'm eating like baby food or something like that. It's just
you're not off the mark. It's creamy rice.
Yeah, it's just not natural.
But no, I make a pretty wicked Wellington if I do say so myself. So,
and you did tell me that your friend, I guess, got to bring it up because I thought it was hilarious that your friends thought you murdered somebody at one point.
Oh yeah, yeah, I was something I mentioned on a different podcast a couple of days ago. They weren't really friends of mine. It was more like acquaintances. It was people that were like friends of friends, not people I knew directly. And the guy, like, you know, we got into a little bit of an altercation at a bar one night, and he got pissed off and stormed out and disappeared. I mean, like literally nobody saw him for weeks. And all of a sudden I got people going around talking about, you know, this, that, and the other. Oh yeah. You know, well, I heard so-and-so killed him. And I'm like, that's me, you dumb son of a bitch. Because one of the things about that particular period in my life when I was still new to the area, a lot of people didn't actually know my name. Like I had a nickname, and that's what everybody called me because I had I had some family down here and that was just how they introduced me to everybody. They said, "Oh, this here's Arilla, blah 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 blah," and so nobody knew my name was Aaron, and so. All of a sudden, this rumor starts circulating around. Yeah, I heard some dude named Aaron killed him. Blah blah blah. I'm like, you dumb son of a bitch! I'm Aaron. I did not kill him. And that particular circumstance actually led to a lot of like kind of funny little interactions. Not the killing the guy thing, but people not knowing that I belong to my name. Because
I didn't kill him. I just knocked him unconscious and threw him in a corral full of pigs.
No, it was a quarry.
It was a quarry with water or not water?
Yes, water. But no, I mean, the guy turned up later. Before we knew what happened to him, like a few years later, I found out, okay, he's not actually dead. But when everybody did think he was dead, my theory was because he left the bar, he was shit faced. So my theory was he went out drunk in his car and wound up driving off the road into this quarry, because if he was going where I thought he was going to have to go right past this quarry. And so I was like, it's not beyond the realm of possibility that he just went off the road, because in one spot the road was like 25 feet from the edge of this drop off. I mean, there's a little chain link fence, but that's not going to stop a car if you're in the bag. So I was like, maybe he's at the bottom of the quarry, and y'all need to get off my back.
Maybe he just got 3 years for DWI.
Yeah, but the thing I think is, in hindsight, I think either like he realized he was in a bad situation and was, having substance abuse issues or whatever, because or had a moment of clarity and just decided he needed to get out of that environment for a while. Because, like I said, the guy just disappeared, cut all ties with everybody in that group.
Rehab.
But on the other hand, like, I never heard of his parents filing a missing report or anything on him. And let's be honest, with everybody walking around talking about how I murdered this guy, if the cops were looking for him, somebody would have showed up at my door at some point. So the fact that I didn't get interviewed tells me I don't think there was ever any formal report filed. And like I said, the guy's not dead, so it's kind of a moot point. But
I can't say I got accused, but I had some other cops thought I killed this other cop one time way back in the day because I worked with this one guy and he was a lazy fuck and he would dodge calls and he was just lazy and he was kind of scary too. Not like scary to us, like just call for backup. Like I got a 4-year-old and I call for backup. I mean, this dude was like 6'5", 6'6". I mean, he was a big ass motherfucker
and shook at everybody.
Scared of his own shadow. And
yeah,
I was going to disturbance one time and I'm going and I look and this dude's like sitting, like I passed him while he was sitting under a tree or something. Like, look at this motherfucker. I'm like, and it pissed me off. Well, the dispatcher got the bright idea to have us go into the woods together to look for a dead body, which I think the whole dead body thing was bogus. I think he was trying to get us together so we could talk out our differences like grown-ups. Well, you gotta realize I was in my mid-20s at this time. I really wasn't that much of a grown-up. I don't think you become a grown-up until you're in your mid-30s, but your brain just don't work quite right. But
yeah, I can second that.
But they sent me in the woods with this motherfucker. So we're walking in the woods looking for a dead body. Like I said, I don't think it ever existed, but we're walking. Well, he looks at me and he's like, "So I hear you got a problem with me." So I'm like, I'm 6 foot, so he's quite a bit taller than me. I turn around and look up at him. I said, "Yep, I sure do." I said, "You a lazy piece of shit motherfucker who's scared of his own goddamn shadow." And I look up at him in his eyes, and I said, "What the fuck you gonna do about it?" He just looks at me, he kind of puts his head down and walks off because I guess the truth hurts, right? And
sometimes.
By the way, and just by the way, he's not a cop anymore. He ain't been a cop in a very, very long time, which was good because he wasn't made for the job. But anyway, I said, "Fuck this shit. I'm not getting bit by mosquitoes and stuff." I walked back to my unit. I went 10-8. And 10-8 means back in service. I went 10-8 and went back to work. Well, I'm driving around. Well, they start calling for him on the radio a few minutes later because he didn't go back 10-8. He's not answering. They call for him about 3 or 4 more times and he still didn't answer. Well, the supervisor or lieutenant, we could say at the time, was like, uh-oh. It's like, we just sent him in the woods with me, with the Iceman, and now he's not answering his radio no more. And you gotta realize, way back in my younger days, I was pretty much of a hothead back then, and the supervisor actually drove out there looking, and he told me later, he said, "I was driving out there the whole time thinking, God, I hope he didn't shoot him with his duty weapons." They thought that we him went in the woods together to look for his dead body, that he said something stupid to me, and I'm just like, fuck it, and just capped his ass and left him laying out in the woods for the coons to eat or something like that. But he ended up, they found him. But the supervisor told me all this later. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. He said, I thought you killed him. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. He said, I thought you just, because he said, I know how much you hate him. He said, I figured you just shot his ass and get him out the way. I'm like, my God, I'm glad y'all think so much about me. I'm just like cold-blooded killing people in the woods and stuff. But yeah, so, but I guess he's still alive, but he's no longer in law enforcement, which is good. But yeah, they thought I killed him.
Yeah, it's an interesting feeling, I'll tell you.
I thought it was hilarious.
Like I said, I definitely had a laugh about it. And like I said, that the funny thing is, that kind of stuff happened to me more than once. I mean, I only got told I killed somebody once, but like I said, I had a lot of people in my early to mid 20s that I had a reputation, but I had a lot of people that didn't know I belonged to it. Like, because I telling these stories, I always feel kind of like I'm, sounds like I'm full of shit, but it's, I wish I would have had a reality TV show back in the day, because nobody believes this shit now. And it's like, I had this reputation because I was the same guy then I am now. I didn't take a lot of shit, but I was about, I don't know, 110 pounds lighter than I am now, and a lot leaner. And so if you got on my nerves, I have a little bit of a temper. I didn't get in a lot of fights, but I had a bad tendency of bitch slapping people. And mostly for saying or doing something particularly stupid, like telling me they were going to kick my ass. That was a real solid way to get slapped. And then I would give them an option, like, okay, while you're down there, you can either shut up and stay down there for a few minutes till you had a time to think about what you did, or you can get up and get your ass whipped. And, for the most part, they stayed on the ground and thought about what they did and how they wound up there. And so that kind of information just sort of traveled in this little social circle of all these degenerate assholes that I had found myself hanging out with, like going to all these different house parties and stuff because I was new in town and I didn't know anybody. So it was like I met a friend of a friend, and next thing you know, I'm at some house party where I paid $5 for a cup of piss warm beer. And, I'm sitting in a corner not having a good time because I don't like stupid people. And by and wide at these parties, it was like guys in their early 20s who couldn't get girls in their early 20s. So they'd be like inviting high school kids over. And as soon as the teenagers showed up, I'd be like, all right, I'm out of here. Fuck y'all. Like, I don't need to get a ticket for contributing to the delinquency of minors. I don't need any of this shit. I don't need some underage girl telling me that she's 22 trying to come back to my apartment. I don't need none of the bullshit that comes with this. Y'all are stupid. And I would leave. So I developed a bit of a reputation as like, A, don't fuck with him, and B, he doesn't have time for your bullshit. And then my kid brother got out of the service, and so he kind of starts going around and meeting some of the people I know, and then from the people I know getting introduced to the same bunch of assholes. So he starts going to these stupid house parties, and by that point I'd kind of washed my hands of the whole situation. I'd met my wife and was more or less hanging out with her at that point. And I had to go find him one night, and I get to the door of this house party, and there's this little pencil neck kid that if he was 21, I'm 37 at the time, and I was like 24. I was like, you're like 12, kid. And I get up to the door, and I'm like, hey, I'm looking for somebody. Get out of my way. And he looks at me. He's like, you ain't coming in unless you pay. And I looked him up and down. I said, you're the one working the door? And he's like, yeah, you ain't getting in this place unless you give me $5. I said, I'm not giving you $5 so I can come in there and tell my asshole brother not to bring anybody back to the house tonight because I got to get some sleep because I got to get up in 5 hours. Get your little narrow ass out of my way. And this kid looks me dead in the face and says, man, I don't know who you think you are, but you must not know about Arilla and Marco and Matthew. We gonna fuck you up. Now, that's my godbrother, my brother, and me. And I know for a fact my godbrother and my brother are in this fucking party because this kid just told me they're there and they're going to fuck me up if I try and come in. And my godbrother's like 6'4". He's a big, tall cat. So I see him come walking through the back of the party, like over the little door weasel's head. And I'm like, Marco, come here. Come here. And I call him over, and he comes walking. Oh, what's going on, baby? Da, da, da. All excited to see me 3 sheets to the fucking wind. And all of a sudden, it dawns on this little kid who's working the door who exactly he's just been threatening. And he's like, wait, you're yes, that's me. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I did not know. I did not mean any disrespect. I just figured you were a big guy, and I didn't want to have no problems. I thought if I said I was you, that maybe you wouldn't give me no grief. And I was like, if you don't get your narrow ass back in that house, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Can I get you a cup, sir? Can I get you anything? No, I just told you I'm not coming in to drink. I'm coming in to tell these assholes not to bring anybody home and be all loud because I got to get up in 5 hours.
Give me $5. I pity the fool.
He says, how much money you got? I'm like, dude, you are not robbing the door, kid. No, it's not robbery. It's a tax. That's for being stupid. Here, go get some Wendy's on your way home. I'm like, you just robbed a door kid to give me money to buy Wendy's. He's like, yeah, you're a dick when you're hungry.
So did you need a Snickers bar?
No, I got a Baconator.
That commercial.
Yeah, no, you're not you when you're hungry. No, I'm more me when I'm hungry.
I'm hangry.
That's part of the problem.
I'm not hungry. I'm hangry.
So yeah, hangry. Pretty much.
I get like that too. I get too hungry. I start getting Getting hangry.
Yeah, pretty soon.
You better hurry up. That would be his wife telling him he better hurry the fuck up.
More or less, yeah. So you're gonna be done soon. You coming up? You're gonna watch TV?
Yeah, I'm surprised my wife ain't coming here. We have been talking for a while.
Yeah,
I gotta say, a
couple 3 hours. Yeah,
hour. Well, we've been recording for almost
an hour 40.
Yeah, because I actually stopped and started a different one so I could do 2 parts.
Yeah, I'll do that after the fact.
I don't like editing much.
I don't think anybody. Well, actually, that's a lie. I do know somebody who likes editing, and I was just like, when he told me, I was like, you're a sick fuck.
Somebody that actually enjoys editing.
Yeah, he says it's enjoyable for him. He likes playing with it, and
oh my god, that's the most tedious, pissing me off thing ever is trying to edit shit. It's like, no, I don't even do it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I clean up a little bit, like if I'm particularly when it's stuff where it's just me. It's really I say a lot when I'm just talking to myself. I say it a lot when I'm talking to other people too, but I say it even more when it's just me, and I'll start going over my own thoughts. I'm so I take all that shit out because nobody wants to hear me say 47 times in one episode.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said right a lot. It wasn't anything to do with the podcast, but I was having a conversation with them, and we were talking about some stuff, and they probably said right about and I actually started almost counting because we were talking about something. I'd say something, he'd be like, right. And I'd say something else, like, right. And I'm thinking to myself, I got to the point where I'm thinking to myself, I won't say nothing else because he's going to say right. And I'd say something and he'd say, yeah, right. And I'm like, oh, I got to stop talking to Steve. He done said it like 50 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like when people say, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, I do because you just said it and I heard you say it. So unless I'm deaf or dumb, I know what you're saying. Or people say a lot, you hear me? You hear me? I had a friend that used to say that all the time. I'm like, dude, do you see hearing aids in my ear? I'm not fucking deaf. I heard you. You don't have to ask me if I heard you. If I didn't hear you, I'll ask you what. Or repeat yourself, okay? Stop saying that shit.
Yeah. I used to work with a guy that, you heard? Like, yes, motherfucker, I heard.
One of my biggest pet peeves is being called chief. I hate being called chief. Yeah. Do I look like an Indian? Do you see feathers in my hair? No, stop calling me.
I get chef. Hey, chef, what are you doing?
He'll say, hey, chief. Or if I get one and say, somebody calls everybody Sarge, that's in uniform, or boss, pretty sure they did time somewheres, okay? That's usually a pretty good time.
I don't know, I call a lot of people boss.
Oh, well, out here, if they say call you boss or Sarge, usually you're in uniform, they usually did time somewheres, okay?
Yeah, nah. I've never served any, but it depends on the context, like I'll be talking to somebody and be like, all right, boss, whatever you say. Although for me, it's usually more of kind of like, all right. Unless I'm talking to my actual boss, which is, yes, sir.
I call one person boss, and that's the sheriff. It's like, good morning. I'm like, good morning, boss. Whatever, because he is my boss, like, for real. So
yeah,
that's I can't be, but people's like, oh, chief, like, I won't even acknowledge you. I can't stand it. I'd rather you say, hey, you dickhead, motherfucker, or something like that than call me chief. I cannot be standing.
Hey, ass knocker, I'm talking to you.
I'd rather that. Because, hey, chief. Like, oh, no, I am not. Do I look like a fireman? No, I don't. Stop calling me that. I just don't like that.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I mean, I get called chef a lot, which is accurate, but the thing is, I don't even have to be wearing chef clothes anymore because there's a guy at one of the gas stations up the street from my house, and I came in one time wearing a chef's coat, and he realized I was a chef, And literally every time I've seen that man for the last like 6 years, hey chef, how's it going? And I'm just like, yeah, it's going here. 25 on 3. Thank you.
Did you have the hat on?
Nope. You can't. I hate the hat. I hate the hat.
The chef boy.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying I don't have any of them. I got about a half a dozen in my closet. Like within, I could get up and go grab one.
What's the point? What's the point of those hats?
Keep sweat and hair out of the food.
But why do they have to be so tall?
Oh, that's more formality. It's old tradition. I'm sure at some point there was a logic to it, and back in the 1700s or whatever, when hygiene probably wasn't the greatest, probably had some chefs with some big old nasty dreads stuffed up in that son of a bitch or something. But
so I just got a visual thought, just like it's yeah. That's like I think Chicago PD or some of these other, they still wear them stupid looking little hats. Like
yeah,
I'm like I see them like that. I'm like, fuck, I'm glad we don't have that shit because those are the stupidest looking little hats ever. What's the point in that little hat?
So it's a little hat. It's tradition.
It's like I see them and I'm like, oh God, I'm so glad I never had to wear those.
Yeah. Now there are actually some reasons behind, like the really tall paper hats with all the folds in it and stuff. Like there once upon a time it was based on which hat you wore was based on the skill set you showed, and
kind of like your seniority or something. Like your rank.
Yeah, kind of. And
like, you only have 4 folds, you rookie.
Well, it's like it's supposed to be like there's 100 folds in a full chef's toque, and it's the 100 ways you can prepare an egg dish and all this other stuff.
That sounds like I just had a flashback of Bubba Gump talking about shrimp.
More or less, yeah. And some of them, there's no end difference in the result. It's all about the technique and all this other shit. But it's actually kind of funny as far as the kitchen industry is going. It's kind of gone the opposite direction of like a lot of other things. Like you go to you look at a church and you got the little cardinal hat and then the bishop hat, and then you got like the pope with the big fucking hat, and I think God wears a sombrero or something. But with kitchens, it's kind of gone the other way over the years. Like it used to be the head chef had the big fancy hat on, and now it's more like if you're the new guy in the kitchen, you're wearing like the floppy white chef's hat. And if you're the guy running the place, you're either not wearing a hat because you don't have to, you're not the one cooking, or you got like, the little chef beanie on or a skull cap or a bandana.
I'm going straight for the hairnet.
Yeah, I don't have enough hair to necessitate a hairnet anymore. So
how much do you get the AA Ron?
A lot, actually. It's kind of tapered.
Hey, Ron.
It's tapered off a little bit, but that first year where was it Key and Peele?
I don't know. It's hilarious.
You done messed up, AA Ron. When that came out, I was working in a club in downtown Chicago. It was a great gig. I really liked my job. I liked my boss. My boss was freaking awesome. But I had an office where I had to go do all my my budgeting and all that crap, and I had my desk job, and I tried to stay out of my desk as much as possible, but it was unavoidable, or I was in there sometime, and my boss's office was across the hall, and until I moved my desk, I could actually see his desk from my desk because his office was like a giant glass wall, so he could look out and he'd see me, and I'd be sitting at my desk doing some paperwork at like 6:30 in the frickin' morning, like one eye open because I just got off the train. I got a fucking 36-ounce cup of coffee in front of me, and I'm filling out receipts from the night before or whatever, and you done messed up, hey Ron. Like, I'm not even awake yet.
Stop, Balake.
yeah, and I would, whatever, Balake.
Yes.
And
that's still a great skit.
And he'd crack up and he'd be sitting at his desk just rolling, and meanwhile I'm trying to clean up all the coffee because he waited till I was going to take a drink before he yelled it, and I'm like, son of a bitch. But yeah, like I said, I still get it periodically now, but not quite so much.
I don't know if you ever saw this one. If you ever want to get a good laugh, I don't know if you ever watched Bobby Possum Cobb or something like that. With
I think I've seen some clips.
Yeah, well, they got one where they do one on methamphetamine. Oh, and it's like, man, it's made from all natural ingredients. I don't care what they say. This is good for you. And it's like, it shows one thing. It says it helps heighten your senses, and it shows him like sitting there and like sniffing a donkey's butt while it farts in his face and shit. Like, I still laugh at that one today. It's freaking hilarious. It's methamphetamine.
I'll have to check it out. But
oh yeah,
sounds like something I will enjoy.
Oh, you'll see it. You'll definitely laugh your ass off at it. So I ain't gonna try to. I guess we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Yeah, well, coming up on
Mrs. A. Ron gonna.
Oh yeah,
be mad. I still gotta go put air conditioning units in the window.
Mrs. Iceman's gonna be mad.
She was in there coloring in her adult coloring book.
Yeah, maybe I'll go find my colored. I got an adult coloring book myself.
I just can't do it.
Well, I got it. They were doing because last year in the mostly peaceful protests up in Wisconsin.
Yes,
that's my hometown, and that's where I is from. And they one of the groups that was doing like recovery efforts made they do it every year. They do a coloring book for a bunch of local businesses. They decided to donate the proceeds to helping fix all the businesses and homes and shit they got this. Yeah, well,
looted one.
Yeah, part of it went to like, I actually watched a video of one guy who got his ass beat by a bunch of peaceful protesters because he was trying to put out the fire they lit in his building. And I'm sure they were out of town people because they thought they were torching a storefront, because they were. But the thing is, this is a storefront that was built back in the 1920s, and the whole second floor was housing. Jesus. So yeah, this guy was down there trying to put out the fire, and like 4 peaceful protesters beat the shit out of the guy. So like he was getting part of the funds from it. So I bought one of the coloring books so I could feel like I did some good. And I noticed we don't
coloring book. We just don't get that in certain states, like where I live, because you do that shit down here, you're probably gonna get shot. I'm sorry to say. I'm not trying to be mean. I mean, we're an open carry state, and most people in here have guns. That's why you don't hear a lot of you don't hear a lot of like kick-ins and stuff like that, or carjackings and stuff, because most people around here have guns in their cars too, which is not illegal. And you do that.
And most people around there know how to use them.
Yeah, you do that around here, and you got people that's probably been wanting to shoot somebody for most of their life, and they're prepared for it. I mean, in my personal car, I carry a Judge in there. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. You don't want to get shot by it.
Judge is awesome. I want one.
So, I mean, in Louisiana, as long as you're not a convicted felon, you can have a gun in your car anywhere you want. In a glove compartment, they mount them. It's not illegal because your car is considered an extension of your home. So,
yeah, I remember the first time I had to run and grab something out of my uncle's truck, and it was like, okay, glove compartment? Okay, there's a 1911. There we go.
But it's just not illegal here. I mean, it's just, but in states like here, you don't hear about a lot of carjackings. It happens every now and then, but not a lot. You don't hear about kicking break-ins or like forcing just themselves into someone's home. I mean, good luck, because when I go to my door or hear a noise, I have guns planted around my house that you don't know where they're at. So,
yeah, that's one of those things I never really understood about how things got to the level they did in Wisconsin. Because, I mean, I know I've been gone for a while and shit has changed, I'm sure. But like when I lived there, I had a 12 gauge that was next to the door on my apartment because I did not live in the best neighborhood. And occasionally I'd been known to answer it with the 12 gauge. And like, can I help you? It's a blizzard outside and you're on my porch at 2 a.m. Do you have a car problem? No, man, I just got a score. You got the wrong house. Get off my porch.
Yeah,
And
I answer my door with, especially with a gun in my hand. So it happens out here, and just
yeah,
it's just not. People aren't going like Sheriff Grady in Florida. Y'all know,
Yeah.
look him up. I love this man.
yeah. Sheriff Grady is I can respect when he said do not do that shit here, because I mean basically he said fuck around and find out.
Yeah. But I mean,
And,
we have bad areas, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Shreveport. We very high murder rates. But go out to the other parts, and if you look around, I'm not trying to extend it. I can ramble on forever. A lot of these big cities, New York, places in California, even Chicago stuff, that has these really strict gun laws. Their crime rate is through the fucking roof. Places that don't have strict gun laws, the crime rate ain't quite as high at all. It don't take a rocket science to figure that out.
Yeah, well, that was actually, just, I know we should probably start wrapping things up, but just in a little funny side note, when we were having our, again, mostly peaceful protests up in Chicago here, like you said, I'm far enough away where I don't directly have to deal with much of that shit, but when it was going on, and some upstanding honor student that was being interviewed on one of the news channels made a statement to the reporter, said, yeah, well, we're pretty much done around here. We come into the suburbs next.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because it was, to me, it was a really good example of how Chicago is really disconnected from how the rest of the state feels about Chicago. Because he said that shit on the news with full confidence, like it was going to go well. Like, yeah, we're done looting in downtown because there's nothing left. So we come into the suburbs, we're going to get some nice shit. And like the night where they said that and put it on the news, I was furloughed at the time, so I didn't have nothing better to do. I went and sat out on my front porch all night, and I had a couple little party favors with me, just in case things did happen to get stupid. And I had one handgun and one shotgun, just, a little rock salt will deter somebody if they don't,
Rock salt. No, I ain't shooting your ass. If I'm shooting, if I got the bitch with me, my 12 gauge, the only thing that's coming out of there's only one or two things coming out of there: double aught buck, or if we feel it really frisky, I'm gonna hit you with a slug.
Yeah.
If anybody don't know what a 12 gauge slug looks like, look it up. And for my old SWAT team days, I'm pretty accurate with this 12 gauge shotgun, and I can put that slug dead center of your chest at 50 yards away from me with a shotgun. So you're not going to get up, I'm sorry, because you're going to have a big ass hole in your chest all the way through when that slug hits you.
Yeah, that's very true. But
there's no wounded. Or I'll pull my AR out. Or if we feel enough frisky, I also have an AK. We can try that out. Or, I have some other rifles, and I'm a cold country boy from Louisiana. Most of us down here are pretty well armed with lots of ammo.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it was like I said, the rock salt is out of consideration to my neighbors because I don't have they're very close, and I don't want to accidentally damage their property. But on the other hand, I also had a 9mm and a 44 with me too. So if the shotgun didn't scare them, they still weren't getting in my house. But it was funny to me though, because I was kind of like, well, here I got a pitcher of tea. I'm going to lean this up against the wall here, and I'm going to sit on the porch, and I'm going to dick around on my phone and wait and see if they are actually as stupid as they think they are. And I kind of looked down my street, and I saw a lot of porch lights on that normally people went to bed fairly early that night. And I saw a lot of feet kicked up on porch rails and stuff. And I was like, seems like this is a pretty unified thought in my neighborhood.
I might have to put a sign out from my yard. Hotel California, looters welcome.
Yeah.
Because what happens at Hotel California? You can check in, but you can never check out.
Yep.
You can come on, come meet me.
Yeah, I got my I think my dad's got one of those little tin signs that says, "We don't call 911 and we have a backhoe."
Yeah.
Like,
Trespassers will be shot, survivors will be shot again.
yeah, pretty much.
I got a sticker on my sticker on my door of my house. You know, it says nothing inside of here is worth you dying for.
Yeah, actually, I got the same one. So nothing in this house this is worth dying for.
Yeah.
And sadly enough, that's pretty much accurate.
Because if you break into my house, I can guarantee you, I'm not gonna say a word. I'm gonna shoot you, and then I'm gonna call the cops to come get your body out of my house. There's no warning shots. I'm not gonna say get out. I'm gonna blast you, and then I'm gonna call the cops to get your body out of my house. It's like, okay, you know what's gonna happen? They're not gonna arrest me because you were in my house where you weren't welcome. I'm defending myself and my family. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one.
I have 5 dogs. I have 5 big dogs. They'll probably bite you too. I have 5 Great Danes. So after you get past my dogs, and if you're lucky to get to me, you'll probably be hollering for my help. So, but they're definitely going to wake me up.
Yeah, that's my dog is half shepherd, half corgi. So she's not real intimidating, but she sounds fucking huge. So, and she's kind of a coward, but she'll wake me up. So that's
like my dogs. They'll make you think they're gonna bite you. But they're Great Danes. They're gentle giants. They're pretty much. I'm not saying they won't bite you. I seen one of them tried to bite somebody before. So, not saying they won't bite you, but they're loud as. And my wife, she's a very a gnat farts next to her head and she wakes up. So.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
All right, we still going. We got to lock it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, just you want to do real quick and little just shout out again where to find you. And
Iceman, MOTORCOP Chronicles podcast. I'm on all the podcast platforms. If you happen to listen to me on Apple, give me a 5-star review. Write me a review. I'll read it on one of the podcasts that helps with the algorithm. You can always check me out on Facebook, same name, MOTORCOP Chronicles Podcast, or on YouTube. Got Twitter, not real active on it, I'm not going to lie. If you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do is email me. I'm usually pretty quick on getting back to you. If you're a first responder or anything, you want to be a guest, let me know. Or if you just have a story you want me to read with my great articulate Southern accent, because I know I sound like a country hick. I can't help it. Let me know. I'll read it too. Just hit me up on email. I got stickers and stuff I'll mail to you, but you got to email me. So just come check me out over there twice a week.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thanks for sitting down and talking with me.
I enjoy it. I'm a chatterbox, so tell them
hadn't noticed.
Tell them about your stuff.
My stuff, in the name of streamline it, because Lord knows I can't talk properly sometimes. Everything is I had to say at podcast.com. It'll give you links to merchandise anywhere you can find the show, all the platforms, or you can just type in I had to say it on any podcatcher, and I should be the first thing that comes up, although sometimes it's some weird-ass song I have never heard of if you put it in Spotify. But, yeah, other than that, like I said, I had to say at podcast.com. It's got links to everything, reviews of shows, other cool stuff I think people should check out. And, that's about it for me.
All right. Well, I enjoyed it. We'll have to do it again. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So...
And, cool.
Until next time. All right. That was the end of that. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Like I said, we'll be back Wednesday. Me and Holstera with the news. And we had some shit go down here. Locally, very close to home this weekend that we'll be talking about. It's pretty tragic and everything else.
So, see y'all Wednesday. Remember, stay safe. Watch your back. Watch your partner's back. And smile, because the Iceman could always be behind you.